Welcome, dear listeners. Tonight, let your thoughts drift gently as we take you on a peaceful journey. This is a space for calm, for quiet moments, and for the kind of stories that settle your heart and slow your breath. Make yourself comfortable, close your eyes if you wish, and allow the world to soften around you. Now, let's begin with tonight's story. Today's story is titled, The Weaver of Time. Act 1, The Gentle Invitation. There is a hush to the world when the night begins to unfold its quiet magic. Outside, the sky drapes itself in indigo velvet, speckled with stars like silver pinpricks through the fabric of time. And within that stillness, if you listen closely, there's a rhythm. A pulse. Something steady, like a heartbeat waiting to guide you inward. Tonight, I invite you to follow that rhythm, to leave behind the chatter of the day and wander with me into a memory long buried but never truly forgotten. Close your eyes, if you will. Let your breath slow, your limbs grow heavy, and the soft weight of rest settle across your shoulders. You're not here anymore. You're elsewhere now, somewhere between dream and remembrance. You find yourself walking down a winding, leaf-strewn path. The ground is soft beneath your feet, the air rich with the scent of pine, smoke, and the lingering sweetness of wildflowers that once bloomed by the hedgerows. The trees lean close, their canopies whispering lullabies to the wind. In the distance, nestled beyond the grove, sits a house, a quiet place weathered by time, with ivy wrapping its stone walls and smoke curling lazily from the chimney. It's not just any house. You know this place. Perhaps not in name, but in feeling. It pulls at something deep inside you, a thread stitched through the fabric of your being. As you approach the front steps, a golden light flickers behind the lace-curtained windows. There's a warmth to it, like a story waiting to be told. The door opens without resistance, as though the house had been expecting you. Inside, everything is familiar and strange all at once. The wooden floors creak under your steps, not in protest, but in welcome. The scent of old books, firewood, and vanilla hangs in the air. Portraits line the hallway, faces both foreign and dear, smiling through time. You pass by the sitting room with its velvet chairs and the well-loved fireplace, until you reach the heart of it all. There, against the far wall, stands a tall, majestic grandfather clock. Its wood is a dark mahogany, polished to a gentle gleam, and the brass pendulum swings in perfect, patient arcs. The clock doesn't chime, not yet. But it takes a slow, comforting sound like the breath of the house itself. This is where it begins, the journey, the remembering. The clock had always been there, or at least, it felt like it. As if the house had been built around it. The man who once cared for it, a quiet soul named Aldrich, believed the clock held stories within its gears. He would often sit beside it in the evenings, sipping his tea, eyes closed as though listening to whispers too delicate for the rest of us to hear. Aldrich was not your grandfather by blood. He was something stranger, a family friend who never left, whose presence lingered through generations, passed along like an heirloom. And though no one could quite trace how he came to live in that house, everyone accepted he belonged there. The house breathed easier with him inside it. He called you Finn. Not your real name, but one he gave you, saying it meant wanderer. You've got an old soul, he'd said once, tapping your chest lightly. And old souls always find their way home. That was years ago. You were still small then, knees scuffed, palms sticky with jam, hair always full of leaves. The clock towered over you like a gentle giant, its tick-tock steady even when everything else shifted around it. You remember lying on the rug beneath it, tracing the carvings on its base with curious fingers. Aldrich would sit nearby, humming low tunes that reminded you of rainy afternoons and candlelit stories. He claimed the clock wasn't ordinary. That it could, under the right conditions, open. Not in the way of doors, but in the way of moments. You have to be still, he'd said once, crouching down beside you. And listen. Not with your ears. With your heart. You never quite knew what he meant. But you'd try, over and over. Lying still. Eyes closed. Breathing in time with the pendulum. You didn't see anything. Not then. But you felt something. A quiet thrill in your chest, like standing on the edge of a very tall place, about to leap into air thick with possibility. Years passed, and the house remained, though visits grew infrequent. Life got louder. Faster. The world outside pulled you further away from the quietness of that hallway and the mysteries of the clock. But now you're back. You don't know how long it's been. The path here was unclear, more feeling than map. But as you stand once again before the grandfather clock, its wood gleaming faintly in the golden light, you feel that familiar pull in your chest. Tick. Tock. The sound is deeper than you remember. Slower. As if the clock is waiting. Your hand reaches out, fingers brushing the cool brass edge of the pendulum casing. The metal hums faintly beneath your skin, a vibration too soft to measure, but too real to ignore. Somewhere behind you, a breeze stirs the curtains, though no windows are open. The flames in the fireplace flicker. And the clock, impossibly, seems to breathe in. Time, it seems, is not what you thought. Not a straight line. Not a cage. But a door. And tonight, that door begins to creak open. Act 2, The House That Remembers. The hallway stretches before you, lined with flickering shadows cast by the fire's soft glow. Each step you take across the creaking floorboards stirs something old, not dust, not air, but memory. The kind that doesn't belong to just you. The kind that clings to the walls, the banister, the worn rug beneath your feet. This house remembers. It remembers the weight of footsteps long gone, the echo of laughter down the stairwell, and the clink of porcelain teacups from the kitchen. Every wall is a witness. Every floorboard a storyteller. You pass the narrow staircase where you once played games of make-believe, imagining it as the mast of a ship or the spire of a forgotten castle. The wallpaper, faded now, still holds the faint floral patterns you once traced with sticky fingers. There's a window halfway up the stairs. You pause before it. Outside, the trees sway gently in the moonlight, leaves whispering secrets you can almost understand. Beyond the garden wall lies the orchard where Aldrich once taught you the names of stars, though you were always more interested in the fireflies. You close your eyes, and for a moment, you're there again, a child sitting on the old wooden bench beneath the pear tree, the night air filled with the scent of crushed grass and ripe fruit. Aldrich's voice, low and certain, pointing to constellations. That one's Cassiopeia, he'd say, but the stars only tell part of the story. You have to listen for the silence between them. You open your eyes. The bench is gone. So is Aldrich. But the silence remains not empty, but expectant. You descend the stairs again and return to the hallway where the grandfather clock still waits. It hasn't moved, yet something about it feels different now. The ticking, steady and rhythmic, is no longer just a sound. It's a language. You run your hand along the grain of its polished wood. Beneath your fingertips, you feel warmth subtle, as if the wood itself were alive. The carvings are clearer than you remember, spirals, stars, and leaves curling around the clock face, as if time itself were blooming from its center. And then you hear it. Faint at first. Not the ticking, something beneath it. A second rhythm. A slow thrum, like a heartbeat, ancient and low, echoing deep inside the clock. It stirs something in you. A memory. No, a recognition. As though your bones had always known this pulse. You press your ear gently to the side of the clock. At first, only silence. Then, a whisper. Not words. Not yet. But the suggestion of them. Like a dream slipping through water. You close your eyes. And you remember the room behind the clock. Or perhaps you only dreamed it. But as a child, you were certain that there was a hidden chamber, a secret space where Aldrich kept the important things. He never explained what those were, only said, "You'll find it when you're ready." You step back now and examine the base of the clock. There. A tiny notch, one you'd never noticed before. Or had you simply forgotten? You press it. A soft click. The front panel of the clock swings open with a slow sigh, revealing not gears and metal, but stairs. Narrow, wooden, winding downward into a passage that could not possibly exist within the structure of this house. You stare, breath caught somewhere between awe and disbelief. The scent wafting up from the stairs is familiar cedar, dust, a hint of lavender and something older, earthier. Like the air of a cave that has never seen light. You hesitate. But the ticking has changed. It's faster now. Not urgent, more like excitement. Like a friend saying, "Come and see." You place one foot on the stair. It holds. You descend. Each step brings with it a flicker of sound, a piano note, a distant laugh, the creak of a rocking chair. Echoes of the house's long memory brushing against you like cobwebs. As you reach the bottom, the air grows warmer, richer. You're in a circular chamber lit by the soft glow of old lanterns. The walls are made not of stone, but of polished wood inscribed with names, dates, and symbols, a tapestry of time itself. At the center of the room, under a glass dome, is a small, delicate watch. Its face is cracked, its hands still. You move closer. There's an engraving beneath it, for the one who remembers. You touch the glass. The watch begins to tick. Just once. Then again. And the room breathes in. Act 3, The Chamber of Echoes. The air in the hidden chamber seems to vibrate softly, like the resonance of a song long forgotten. Around you, the curved wooden walls are inscribed with names, dozens, maybe hundreds, etched in graceful loops and curling scripts, some weathered with time, others freshly carved. You run your fingers across them. One name stands out. Aldrich Thorne. You don't remember ever hearing his last name before. But seeing it here, glowing faintly in the low lantern light, feels right. Like it had always been a part of the story, even if no one ever spoke it aloud. You turn slowly, your eyes adjusting to the soft amber glow. The chamber is wider than it should be. The dimensions make no sense. From the outside, the house couldn't possibly hold a space this vast. And yet, here it is, calm, sacred, expectant. Your gaze returns to the watch beneath the glass dome. For the one who remembers. That line lingers in your mind like a riddle. But you do remember. More than you thought. More than you should. Because this place, it isn't just a memory of your own. It's made of everyone's who came before. Their thoughts, their dreams, their losses. It's as if the house has been recording lives all along, not with paper or tape, but with time itself. And the clock is the key. You kneel beside the dome and peer into the watch's face. There's something inside it. Not reflections or dust, but movement. A shimmer. You blink, and for a moment, you see a boy. No older than 10. Sitting by a hearth. He holds a book too big for his hands, mouthing the words as he reads aloud. His eyes shine with curiosity, his hair a messy storm of dark curls. You know him. You've seen him before. Not in photographs, but in dreams. And for a moment, you realize it's not you. It's Aldrich. A long time ago. Then the shimmer fades. The watch falls silent again. You stand, your pulse a steady drum beat in your ears. There are 3 doors in the chamber now where moments ago, there were none. Wooden, curved like the walls, each carved with a different symbol. The first bears a spiral. The second, an hourglass. The third, a tree with roots that disappear into the floor. Your hand hovers over the spiral. Something about it calls to you not with urgency, but with familiarity. You press your palm to the wood, and the door swings open without a sound. Beyond it lies a hallway lit by gentle candlelight, stretching farther than it should. You step inside, and the door closes behind you. The hallway shifts as you walk. It doesn't curve or tilt, but memories bloom along the walls like murals. Your own memories, painted in light. There's the old garden swing Aldrich built for you in a summer long past. You see yourself clinging to the ropes, feet kicking skyward, cheeks flushed with joy. The scent of cut grass fills your nose. You hear Aldrich laughing, deep and warm. A few steps farther, another scene unfurls, the rainy afternoon you caught your first firefly. You were crying over a scraped knee, but Aldrich handed you a jar filled with tiny glowing lights and whispered, "Pain doesn't mean the story's over, Finn. It just means you've turned a page." You pause, watching the memory play out in flickers and glow. It doesn't hurt to see it. In fact, it brings a softness to your chest, a kind of healing you didn't know you still needed. The hallway grows darker now, the candles fewer, the air cooler. Another memory appears, this one harder to face. You're older. Maybe 15. Standing on the front porch, yelling. Your words are sharp, clumsy with anger. Aldrich stands silently, his face unreadable. You can't remember what the fight was about, but you remember how it ended. You left. He didn't stop you. The scene fades. You stand there for a long moment, your breath shallow. Eventually, you whisper, "I'm sorry." And from somewhere in the shadows, a voice replies, not as sound, but as presence. "I know." A door appears at the end of the hallway. You walk toward it. It opens onto a small room with a window overlooking nothing. Just sky. Vast and starlit. There's a chair beside the window, and on it, a book rests, its cover leather-bound and cracked. The title reads, "The Timekeeper's Legacy." You pick it up. Inside, there are no words, only pages of empty parchment. But as you flip through them, ink begins to appear. Not written by your hand, but by your presence. The book is recording you. Your thoughts, your truths, your path through memory. You close the book gently and tuck it under your arm. You know now, the clock doesn't just keep time. It guards it. It stores it. And, sometimes, it gives it back. You return through the hallway, the memories fading softly behind you. Back in the circular chamber, the three doors remain, but the spiral door is now closed behind you, sealed with golden light. The watch under the dome ticks once more. You understand now, there are more doors to open. And many stories left to uncover. Act 4, The Sands Beneath the Clock. The chamber is silent now, but not still. The silence hums with intention. The kind of quiet you find just before a thunderstorm, or in the pause between heartbeats. It's alive, listening. And the watch beneath the dome ticks again once, twice, like a countdown softly beginning. You look to the two doors that remain. The one marked by the hourglass glows faintly, a pulsing golden light within its carvings. It draws you toward it, not with warmth, but with a sense of urgency, as though time itself is aware that it's being watched. You step closer. The symbol of the hourglass etched into the door seems to shimmer as you approach. For a heartbeat, you think you see the sands inside it moving, falling upward. Rewinding. You place your hand against the wood. It's cold. The door swings open, and a gust of air washes over you, dry and scented with parchment, iron, and dust. The scent of age. Of things buried. Beyond is a staircase, spiraling downward into darkness. But the walls are lined with old oil lamps, and as you begin to descend, they flicker to life one by one, lighting your way. The deeper you go, the slower the ticking becomes. Not slower in rhythm, but in sensation, like you are sinking below time itself. At last, the stairs open into a vast underground hall. Here, time does not flow. It hangs. Suspended in shards of memory and flickering shadows. Along the walls are shelves, countless shelves filled with hourglasses of every shape and size. Some are ornate, gilded in brass and glass, others humble and wooden, their sand pale as bone or dark as night. Some run steadily, sand trickling quietly from one globe to the other. Others are frozen mid-fall. A few flow backward. You step into the room, your footsteps muffled on the stone floor. A large hourglass at the center of the room catches your attention. It stands taller than you, its glass swirling with golden grains that shimmer like starlight. A plaque beneath it reads, Aldrich Thorne. The keeper's line ends not in silence, but in return. You stare at it, heart drumming. The sand inside it doesn't fall. It waits. The keeper's line. You remember the title from the book upstairs, The Timekeeper's Legacy. The words return now with sharper edges. Aldrich wasn't just a man with a love for clocks. He was something else. A custodian. A guardian of memory. A keeper. And you. Your breath catches. You were never meant to be just a visitor in this house. You were always meant to return. Something shifts behind you. You turn and there he is. Aldrich. Not as a memory. Not as a ghost. But as a vision of the past, stepping gently through the doorway at the far end of the hall. He's younger, the man you remember from your childhood. Worn coat, spectacles slipping low on his nose, and that ever-present calm in his eyes. He doesn't speak. Instead, he moves to one of the hourglasses on the wall and brushes a hand across it. It lights up, and in it, You see a moment frozen in sand, the night you arrived at the house for the first time. Small, wide-eyed, clinging to his hand. He was showing you the clock. Telling you stories. He looks over his shoulder now. Smiles gently. And vanishes. The hourglass dims. You step toward it and place your fingers on its frame. It's warm. Suddenly, the hall around you shifts. The shelves dissolve into wind, the hourglasses vanish like smoke, and you find yourself standing in the old study, Aldrich's study, just as it was years ago. The smell of pipe smoke lingers in the air. The desk is cluttered with open journals, quills, half-drunk cups of tea, and small brass gears laid out in careful rows. And there beside the desk is a wall you don't remember. It's not stone or plaster, but smooth metal. A panel. No handle. No hinges. You reach out, and it responds to your touch. It slides open with a hiss. Inside is a narrow room of vault. And within it, a chair, a copper circlet mounted to its back, and a console of brass dials and ticking instruments. You realize, slowly, that it's not just a vault. It's a device. A machine for memory. For reliving memory. You step inside. Sit. The circlet lowers gently onto your head. The dials begin to tick. And then the world falls away. You are no longer in your body. No longer in your time. You are Aldrich. Young. Afraid. Standing before a council of strangers in long coats, each wearing a symbol, the hourglass stitched over their hearts. We don't interfere, one says. We preserve. We observe. We protect time from those who would rewrite it. But memories fade, you know, Aldrich reply. And we are forgetting what matters. The vision shifts. Now you are older. At the clock. Speaking to a boy with curious eyes. You don't have to believe me, Finn, you say. Just listen. Another shift. You're alone now. Sick. Weary. Writing your final entry. If the clock chooses him, he will find the chamber. And if he finds the chamber, the legacy can continue. The light fades. You awaken in the vault. Yourself again. But the weight of Aldrich's memories settle over your shoulders like a coat too familiar to shrug off. You step outside. The vault door seals behind you. Back in the hourglass hall, the large central glass begins to move. The sand is falling. Slowly. Steadily. You understand now Aldrich's time has passed. Yours is beginning. You are the keeper now. But the legacy is not a burden. It's a gift. A map to the past. A bridge to the forgotten. A promise to those who came before. You walk back up the stairs, heart full, mind whirling. The chamber welcomes you back with warm light. The watch ticks once more. 2 doors closed. 1 remains. The roots run deep. And it is time to see what they're connected to. Act 5, The Root of Time. You stand in the chamber once more, heart still echoing with the visions you've witnessed not just from your own life, but Aldrich's as well. The truth of his legacy pulses through your veins now, not like a burden, but a rhythm. A steady, ancient rhythm. The final door remains. It has changed. Where once there was a simple tree with roots curling into the floor, now those roots glow faint threads of light spreading out from the wood and tracing across the chamber like veins through stone. They pulse with soft light as you step closer. The air shifts. The temperature drops slightly. Not unpleasant, just older. Deeper. Like entering the underside of something that has always been present but never truly seen. You reach out and press your palm to the final door. The moment your skin meets the wood, the roots pulse once more and then, slowly, the door opens inward. No hinges. No resistance. Just invitation. Beyond it lies a descending tunnel, carved of stone and lined with soil, as if dug directly through the earth's memory. The walls shimmer faintly, not with crystals, but with thread strands of light that pulse gently, like nerves in a living thing. As you walk, your footsteps echo not just in the air, but in the bones of the world itself. Each step feels like it is being recorded, absorbed into the ground beneath you. The passage opens into a cavern. And there, you stop. You are inside the base of a tree. But not any tree. It stretches upward into darkness, impossibly vast, its bark wide as towers, its roots spiraling through the rock like great stone limbs. There is no sky above, only darkness pierced by floating golden motes like embers suspended in time. You've seen this tree before. Carved into the face of the last door. Etched on the clock. Hidden in the wallpaper as a faint watermark. In stories Aldrich used to half mutter as he cleaned the gears. You just never realized what it was. The root of time. Beneath the great tree, at its center, lies a pool. Still. Black. Mirror-like. You step closer and see not your reflection but someone else's. A woman. Hair like stormy clouds. Eyes pale gold. She's ancient, but not aged. She watches you with something like recognition. Then her voice enters your mind, not spoken aloud, but as thought. You are the last branch. You blink. What does that mean? You ask aloud, voice trembling in the cavern's hush. The tree remembers all time. Every keeper is a leaf. Every line a root. Aldrich was one. You are the next. You kneel at the water's edge. The reflection changes. You see moments flickering within its surface, not memories, but possibilities. You. Standing before the clock, much older, showing a small child how to wind it. You. Alone, years from now, sitting in the chamber, hands over your face, whispering, "I'm not ready." You. Standing on the roof of the house as the stars fall, holding something glowing close to your chest. Each moment shimmers, then vanishes. The woman speaks again. To protect time is not to freeze it. It is to honor its flow. The clock is not a prison, it is a compass. But only if you are willing to follow it. You place your hand over your heart. "I don't know where it leads," you whisper. No keeper ever does. That is why the tree grows. It grows toward what has not yet been written. Suddenly, the great tree pulses. And you feel it not with your eyes, but with your soul. The roots of this place connect to everywhere. Not just the house. Not just this world. But to every story ever told, every life ever lived, every version of you that ever could be. The grandfather clock was only the beginning. Just a door. Just a seed. The tree is the truth. You rise. Around you, the cavern begins to shift, the roots curl upward, guiding you back toward the passage. The motes of light dance like fireflies as you pass. The chamber is breathing again. As you return through the earthen corridor, you sense the house above waiting for you. Listening. You ascend the last stone step and emerge back into the circular chamber. The watch beneath the dome ticks. 3 doors, now glowing with a soft, unified light, fade gently into the walls. There is no applause. No booming declaration. Just stillness. And the quiet understanding that you are no longer who you were when you entered. You are not merely Finn anymore. You are the keeper. The time bearer. The one who remembers not just for yourself, but for those who came before and those who will come after. You step forward and place your hand on the dome. The watch stops ticking. And then, it begins again. But the sound is different now. Not just tick, tock. It's breath. It's heart. It's life. And above, somewhere in the world beyond, the grandfather clock in the hallway rings out 12 deep, resonant chimes. Midnight. The hour between what was, and what might be. Act 6, The Keeper's Burden. The chimes echo through the house, deep and sonorous, ringing out across the hallways, through the rooms, and into the very bones of the house. The sound does not fade, it lingers, persistent, as though time itself is trying to make its presence known. But now, there's something different. The clock no longer merely counts the seconds. It guides them. The room before you shifts. The three doors fade into the walls, leaving behind only the soft hum of the watch. The air thickens, heavy with the weight of the past, present, and future. The walls, once simple and smooth, now pulse with an ancient rhythm, their edges blurred, as if the house itself is waking up from a long sleep. You reach out instinctively, placing your palm against the cool, familiar glass dome that holds the watch. The moment your skin makes contact, the vibrations intensify, not painful, but awakening. As though the house is alive and reacting to your touch, the space around you expanding, breathing. The watch flickers. And in that flicker, you feel it, the other side of time. The one that exists beyond memory, beyond the hourglass, beyond the carefully measured ticking of a clock. You glimpse flashes of what could be, the possibilities, the choices you've yet to make, the paths yet to be walked. For the first time since stepping into this house, you understand. Time isn't just something to protect. It's something to embrace. You step back, breath steadying, and look around the room. The floor seems to stretch beneath your feet, the walls now barely visible in the soft glow that emanates from the center of the room. But there's something more, a shadow, just at the edges of your vision. You turn, but nothing is there. Nothing but the soft pulse of the air and the ticking of the watch. Still, you feel it, a presence, close and familiar. Almost as if someone is standing right behind you, watching you, waiting. The sensation is unsettling. Yet, you cannot shake the feeling that this presence is no stranger. And then it comes. A whisper. Not in your ears. Not in your mind. But in the space between your thoughts, in the space between the beats of your heart. A voice. Familiar. And yet distant. Finn. I knew you'd find a way. You freeze. The voice is unmistakable. Aldrich. It was never about finding the right path, Finn. It was about choosing to walk it. You swallow hard, your heart pounding in your chest. Aldrich. You say, almost breathless. Where are you? For a moment, there's nothing but silence. The watch ticks, louder now, reverberating through the air. And then, through the stillness, you hear it again. The house remembers, Finn. But it will forget too. Suddenly, the ground beneath your feet trembles. A low rumble shakes the air, and the walls flicker like the images of a fading dream. You spin, searching for the source of the disturbance. But before you can react, a door appears in the far corner of the room, a door you've never seen before. It stands, faintly glowing, just at the edge of the room, beckoning. The shadows gather, swirling around the door, pulling at your mind, your senses. There's no choice but to approach. With each step you take, the door becomes clearer. The handle is worn, but familiar. Almost like a mirror of the one you opened earlier, but this time, there's a coldness to it. Not a physical cold, but something deeper. A warning. A final threshold. You reach for the handle, your fingers trembling. The moment you touch it, the room fades. You're no longer in the house. Instead, you stand on a mountain. A snow-capped peak. A place untouched by time. No wind. No sun. Just a silent void of stars and frozen sky. The ground beneath you is solid and slick with ice, but your feet remain steady, planted. Above you, the stars swirl, like gathering memories of the world. The watch in your hand ticks not in rhythm, but in rapid succession. Each tick like a leap through space and time, faster, faster, until you can no longer hear it. It vibrates now, so powerfully that the air seems to hum along with it. And there, standing at the far edge of the peak, Aldrich. Not the Aldrich you remember, but something more. Older. Worn. Yet unbroken. His eyes are wide with understanding, and his hand rests upon a giant clock, buried into the mountainside, its gears and cogs spinning in silent revolution. Why here? You ask, your voice muffled by the stillness of the world. Because this is where time begins, Aldrich replies, his voice heavy with the weight of centuries. And where it ends. You walk toward him, your feet crunching against the icy ground, your breath catching in the cold. The closer you get, the clearer the giant clock becomes, its face cracked, its hands moving backwards, not forwards, as though the clock is trying to undo itself. Time isn't linear, Aldrich says, turning to face you. It's a loop. A cycle. One that can be broken, but never truly escaped. You pause, trying to comprehend his words. But what does that mean? What happens now? He looks at you, his gaze deep, as though measuring your very soul. It means you have a choice. You've found your way back to the beginning. But will you start over, or will you rewrite it all? You look down at the watch in your hand. The ticking has stopped. The room, the mountain, the stars, they feel like fragments of a dream. The truth is close. The decision lies before you. But only one question remains. What will you choose, Finn? Act 7, The Choice. The mountain air is colder now, biting at your skin with every breath you take. The stars above, once shimmering softly, are now sharp like the edges of broken glass, cutting through the sky. The ground beneath you feels heavier, more solid, and the giant clock in front of you ticks louder, its gears grinding as though it's straining against the passage of time. You stand at the edge of the peak, staring at the giant clock, its hands now moving erratically, dancing backward, as though they're trying to unmake themselves. The entire world around you feels suspended, caught between the ebb of time and the stillness of the void. Every tick of the clock seems to pull you deeper into its gravity, pulling you into a place where the line between past, present, and future no longer exists. Aldrich is standing beside the clock, his hand resting gently on its surface, his expression unreadable. There's a sadness in his eyes, but also something else, something that seems to flicker with a distant hope. "You've found your way back," Aldrich says, his voice calm, but heavy with meaning. But the path forward is not so simple. You look at him, unsure of what to say. The wind bites at your skin, but you hardly feel it now. The weight of the choice ahead of you presses on your chest, harder than the cold. "What do you mean?" you ask, your voice quieter than you intend. Aldrich turns to face you, his eyes searching yours. "Time is not just a thread, Finn. It's a river. A flow that moves in directions we can't always see. You've crossed its banks more times than most. You've seen the past, the future, and all the possibilities between. But now..." He gestures to the clock, and the gears grind louder, the ticks growing frantic, as though the very fabric of time is tearing itself apart. "Now you have to decide," he continues, his voice steady but full of weight. "Will you turn back the hands of time? Will you try to fix what was lost? Or will you move forward, knowing that the past cannot be changed, but its memory can still shape what comes next?" You look at the clock, your heart racing. Its face is cracked, the numbers faded. The hands spin wildly, as though they have no place to rest. The sand in the giant hourglass beside it flows upward, not down, as if time itself is unraveling, like the threads of a great tapestry that has begun to tear. "You said it was a cycle," you say, your voice barely above a whisper. "A loop. A never-ending loop. But what if I don't want to be a part of it anymore?" Aldrich's gaze softens. "You can't escape it, Finn. Not entirely. But you can choose to walk a new path. You can choose how you move through it." You swallow, the weight of his words pressing down on you. The clock ticks louder, like a heartbeat in the stillness of the mountain. And for the first time, you realize that the ticking isn't just a sound. It's the sound of your own heartbeat, of your own life moving forward, and backward, all at once. You turn to look at the vast expanse of the mountainside. The stars above shimmer faintly, like the echoes of lives long past. The wind has stopped, leaving only the silence and the ticking. You are standing on the edge of the world, between what was and what could be. The past, you start, but the words feel foreign on your tongue. "It's not just a story, is it? It's me." Aldrich nods slowly. "Yes. And that's why the house remembers. That's why the clock exists. To guide you. To show you that no matter how far we try to run from it, the past is always a part of us. But that doesn't mean we're bound by it. We carry it, yes. But we also create our future." You stare at the clock again, its hands still spinning erratically, and the weight of what Aldrich is saying begins to sink in. It's true, the past has shaped you. shaped everything. But the future, it isn't written yet. You take a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. The world around you is still, suspended in time. The ticking of the clock fills your mind, each tick a heartbeat. The choice is clear now. Do you choose to stay in the past, to cling to what's familiar, what you know? Do you try to fix what was lost, to turn back the hands of time, even if it means giving up what could be? Or do you step forward, into the unknown, carrying the past with you, but not letting it define you? Do you choose to live, truly live, knowing that you cannot change what was, but you have the power to shape what comes next? You look at Aldrich, his eyes full of understanding. What do you think I should do? You ask, feeling the weight of his gaze. Aldrich smiles softly, a wistful expression crossing his face. I think, he says, that you already know the answer. You glance back at the clock. The hands are still spinning, but now they are slowing, as though they are waiting for you to make your choice. You close your eyes for a moment, the sound of the ticking washing over you like the flow of a river. And then, you step forward. The path ahead is uncertain, but it's yours to walk. As you move toward the clock, the hands slowly begin to still. The ticking fades, and for a brief moment, everything is silent. Then, with a final deep chime, the clock stops. You've made your choice. And now, the journey begins. Act 8, The Path Beyond Time. The mountain winds are calm now. The storm of possibilities that once raged within you has quieted, and in its place, there is only silence. A strange, beautiful kind of silence. The world around you has not changed. The stars above are still as they were, flickering softly in the black expanse of the night. But something deep inside you has shifted. The clock has stopped. The hands, which once spun in wild confusion, have come to rest not in perfect alignment, but in a place that feels right. Balanced. Almost as if time itself has decided to give you a moment of peace, a stillness in the chaos of existence. You stand on the edge of the mountain, looking out over the vast, frozen landscape. The snow beneath your feet crunches, but you don't feel cold anymore. The weight of the world, of the choices you've made, hangs in the air like a fog. Yet, somehow, it's not oppressive. It's freeing. You've chosen to move forward. And now, you're not sure what lies ahead. The winds pick up again, but they no longer carry the same sense of urgency. They feel gentle. Whispers of something ancient, something that has always been, yet never fully understood. The house no, the tree has given you the key to the future, but now it's up to you to decide what to do with it. A part of you wants to turn back. To return to the house, to the place where everything was familiar, where the past was a constant companion, always there to lean on. But another part of you, the part that has chosen this path, knows that turning back is not an option anymore. You glance down at the watch in your hand. It's still. The ticking has stopped. but there's something else. A soft hum. A vibration, like a pulse running through the air. It starts at the watch, but soon, it's everywhere. In the earth beneath your feet. In the air around you. It's as though the very fabric of time itself is beginning to stir again, as if it's waiting for you to make the next move. The hum grows louder, stronger. And then, you hear a voice. It's not Aldrich this time. The voice is unfamiliar, but somehow comforting, like the sound of a faraway melody that you've always known, but have never heard clearly until now. Finn. You turn quickly, searching for the source, but there's no one around. Finn, you've done well. The voice is soft, almost like a whisper, but it carries weight. The kind of weight that settles into your bones and makes your heart beat faster. You've chosen the path of the keeper. The path of change. You take a step forward, the snow crunching beneath your boots, but you're no longer sure if you're walking towards something or away from it. The landscape before you is vast, and though you can't see the end of it, you know that whatever it is, it will shape the rest of your journey. The past is a part of you, the voice continues, now clearer, more defined. But it is not all of you. What you carry with you, your memories, your experiences, your choices, they will guide you. They will help you shape the future. You pause. The voice sounds distant, but it's not in the air. It's in you. Inside your mind. Inside your heart. The clock no longer holds you. The tree has planted its roots in you, Finn. And now, you will grow with it. You will learn what it means to be the keeper. The ground beneath you shifts. The mountains seem to tilt, as though the entire world is aligning, shifting, preparing for something. The snow swirls around you in a delicate dance, lifting from the ground in slow, spiraling tendrils of white and gray. Your heart pounds in your chest. This is it. The moment where everything converges. The moment where your past and future collide. The moment where the story becomes real. You don't know what it means to be the keeper. Not yet. But you feel the power within you, the potential. You feel the weight of it, and the vast responsibility that comes with it. You take a deep breath and close your eyes for a moment. The snow has stopped swirling. The wind has calmed. Everything is still, like a breath held in the chest of the world. And then, you open your eyes. You step forward, the path before you stretching out into the distance. There are no more walls, no more boundaries. Just an endless horizon of possibilities. The hum fades, and the silence returns, but this time, it's not empty. It's full of promise. Full of the things you've yet to learn, the places you've yet to go. For the first time since you stepped into the house, you feel truly free. You are not bound by the clock. Not by time. You are free to shape it, to mold it, to guide it. But the path is still long. And the journey, just beginning. Act 9, The Unseen Path. The world around you seems to breathe. Every step you take echoes through the quiet, the air itself whispering with potential. You are no longer a stranger here. The path you walk is yours, the future unwritten but not unfamiliar. It's as if you've known it all along, waiting for the right moment to step forward. The wind is still. The snow has settled into an untouched silence, as if the mountains themselves are watching, waiting. Your breath hangs in the air, fleeting and ephemeral, just like the time you've learned to master. The watch in your hand ticks once more, but this time it's different. The rhythm is no longer erratic. It's steady, like the beat of your own heart, guiding you, grounding you in the present. You lift it up to your face, the glass dome reflecting the pale light of the stars above. For a moment, you almost feel as if the watch is looking back at you. Time is not a cage, you hear again the voice that spoke to you before. It is the thread that ties us all together. And you, Finn, are its keeper. You nod slowly, feeling the weight of the words. The past, the present, the future, they're all tangled, woven together like the threads of a tapestry, and you now hold the needle that will guide the design. But how? How do you shape what has yet to be? You step forward again, your boots crunching softly on the snow, the mountain path ahead of you growing clearer with every step. The horizon is vast, but the way forward is uncertain. No map. No guide. You don't need them anymore. The path ahead seems to stretch infinitely, but your footsteps don't falter. The path will reveal itself as you walk. The world is yours to shape, but every choice comes with its own consequences. The watch begins to hum again, a low vibration, deep and resonant. You hold it close to your chest, letting it sink into your palm as if you were holding something both fragile and unyielding. The trees ahead bend with the wind, their branches twisting into impossible shapes, their leaves shimmering as though made of glass. As you approach, the air thickens, shimmering with light. Suddenly, the ground beneath you shifts. You pause, but there's no danger, only the unmistakable feeling that the earth is responding to your presence. The landscape is alive, aware. Time here is not the same as it was in the house, in the clock room. This place feels older, primordial. You step carefully onto the shifting ground, your boots sinking slightly as though the earth is not ready for your weight. The light around you flickers and flares, and in the distance, you see a figure. A shadow. Not human, but humanoid in shape. It moves with purpose, walking just out of reach. Every time you think you're about to catch up, the figure glides just beyond the horizon. It doesn't speak. It doesn't need to. You follow, drawn by an instinct you cannot explain. There's something about the figure that feels like home, like the very thing you've been searching for, even before you knew it existed. The figure leads you to a clearing, an open space surrounded by trees that seem to bend inward, enclosing the space with walls of living wood. The clearing is circular, the ground covered in soft moss and delicate flowers that glow faintly in the dark. In the center of the clearing stands an object. A pillar. It is stone, rough-hewn, and ancient, covered in runes that seem to shift as you approach. The symbols glow softly, pulsing with light, as if alive. The figure stops before it, standing motionless, and then turns toward you, waiting. You approach cautiously, drawn by an irresistible pull. The runes hum as you get closer, and the pillar seems to recognize you. You raise your hand to touch it, but hesitate. The air around you feels charged with energy magic, but not like the spells you read about in stories. This is deeper, more primal. The figure steps aside, as if to give you room. You feel the weight of the moment, and for the first time, a sense of clarity washes over you. This is what you've been searching for. The next step. You place your hand on the pillar. The runes flare brightly, illuminating the clearing with blinding light. The ground beneath you trembles, but you remain rooted to the spot. The pillar vibrates beneath your hand, sending a wave of energy through your body, through your bones, through your soul. In that moment, everything changes. The world around you shifts, the trees bowing low as the winds whip through the clearing. The ground beneath your feet cracks and splits, the earth itself rearranging to reveal something new, an entrance. A doorway. A passage leading downward, into the earth, into the unknown. You look back at the figure, but it is gone. The clearing is empty, and the wind has ceased, leaving only the faint glow of the pillar behind you. The entrance beckons. Without thinking, you step forward. The moment your foot crosses the threshold, the ground beneath you shifts again, and the world begins to spin. Time, you realize, is not just a thread. It is a river, a constant flow, twisting and turning in directions unknown. But now, you can feel it. You can see it. And as you descend into the unknown, the pulse of the river carries you forward into the future, into the heart of the story. You are no longer just the keeper. You are the shaper of time. Act 10, The Heart of the River. The world shifts again, and suddenly, the earth beneath your feet feels different. You are no longer standing on solid ground, no longer surrounded by the towering trees and the snow-covered peaks. The air is heavy with moisture, thick and rich, and the light dim and fluctuating feels like it's pulsing with the rhythm of something alive. You blink. Where are you? The ground is no longer mossy, but slick and wet, and the air tastes of salt and earth. It's damp, as if the very space you occupy is breathing. The landscape shifts around you in strange patterns, everything moving in slow, deliberate motions like ripples on a still pond. You look up and see the sky above, but it's not the familiar expanse of stars. It's something else, shifting clouds, moving with a deliberate force. The air smells of the sea, of salt, and wind. The land around you seems to stretch on infinitely, but it's not land at all. It's a river, a vast, winding current that seems to flow across every direction, its waters dark and turbulent. The river of time. The river where the past, present, and future converge, where all things flow and intertwine, where memories and moments are carried along like leaves in the current. You step forward cautiously, and as you do, the ground beneath you shifts. You're standing on a narrow strip of land that stretches between two vast rivers, the present and the past. You glance down at the water, and your reflection ripples, distorting your image, morphing it into countless versions of yourself, past, present, future. You can see yourself in all ages, all faces, all choices. You see moments you don't remember, some familiar, some completely foreign. You see Aldrich, young and vibrant, sitting beside you, whispering about the time that will be, and the time that was. And you see something darker. A shadow. A form that stirs beneath the water. You reach out, and the river reacts, its waters churn, swirling violently, pulling at the edges of your consciousness, testing your resolve. The whispering voice returns, echoing through your thoughts. You have crossed into the heart of the river, Finn. And now, you must choose, will you let the current carry you, or will you swim against it? Your heart races, but your mind is steady. The water swirls, but you do not panic. The currents are strong, but you can feel the pull of the river. It is not just the passage of time that it carries, but also your own choices. Your own future. The world around you begins to take shape. The river's surface calms, revealing paths beneath the water's surface. Each path is marked by stones, worn smooth by the flow of time. Some stones glow faintly, others are cracked, broken, as if they've been submerged for too long. You know the paths represent choices. The past, with its memories and lessons, its regrets, and moments you wish you could change. You feel the pull of it. The desire to go back, to fix what was wrong. You see the broken stones beneath the water, reminders of the roads you've already traveled. The present, the steady flow of water. It's calmer, but it's still moving. It's a moment you can feel, right here, right now. It's the only part of time you can truly touch, truly understand. But it's fleeting, always slipping away as soon as you grasp it. The future, it's distant. Unknown. Shrouded in mist. The stones beneath it glow brightly, like stars, waiting for you to find them. The river here is unpredictable, its flow rapid, twisting and turning in directions you can't foresee. Yet, it is the path forward, the one you must walk. You glance down at your reflection again. Which path do you choose? Your breath catches as you realize the shadow beneath the water has grown. It's rising, its form clearer now, a figure, familiar and strange at once. It's not a person. It's something deeper. It's fear. It's doubt. It's the thing that holds you back from choosing, from moving forward. The thing you've been running from, the reason you've hesitated, the reason you've stayed in the past for so long. The shadow stretches, trying to reach for you, to pull you into the river's depths. The voice in your head whispers again. Do you fear it, Finn? You hesitate. You're not afraid of the shadow. You know it's a part of you, a part of everyone. But you're not sure if you can overcome it. Then, suddenly, the shadow stops. It's still, frozen in place. Its darkness recedes, as if it can't follow you anymore. It is bound by your decision. By your will. The river still flows, but now it seems to slow, the current becoming gentler, more understandable. You step forward, the shadow dissipating with every step you take. The path ahead opens up. You choose the future. The one you cannot see. The one you must walk with faith. The river continues to flow, but now, you can feel the pull of it, guiding you forward. The current, once intimidating, is now a companion, and you step onto the path, the stones beneath your feet guiding you onward. And then, you hear it? A voice. The familiar voice of Aldrich. Well done, Finn. You've chosen the path ahead. But remember, time is not a single line, it's a web. And every choice you make ripples across it, creating new possibilities. You glance back at the river and the paths that stretch out behind you, and you realize something. The past, the present, the future, they are all interconnected. The choices you make now will shape what comes next. But they won't trap you. The web of time isn't a prison. It's a journey. You smile, the weight of your choice settling in your chest. You're no longer just the keeper of time. You are the shaper of it. You can walk forward, and the river will carry you. But you will choose the direction. The voice fades, and the landscape around you shifts again. You step forward, into the unknown. Act 11, The Trial of the Keeper. The river flows endlessly before you, its waters now calm and steady, like a long-forgotten song being played just beneath the surface. You have chosen your path, but that path is not yet clear. The river moves, but its current is unpredictable, and it carries you into a place you have never seen. You stand at the edge of the water, watching as the flow twists around a bend, vanishing into the distance. The air is thick with the scent of salt and earth, the wind carrying whispers of things long gone. But there is something more, something familiar yet distant. You've felt it before, and now, standing here in the stillness, you realize what it is. It's the weight of responsibility. The weight of your decision. The path ahead is not simply one of discovery. It is a trial, the first of many. You are no longer simply a keeper, bound to the river. You are now its master. And with that mastery comes the burden of choices you may not fully understand. You step forward into the river's depths. The water cools your feet, swirling around your legs, and as you wade deeper, the current pulls at you, stronger now than before. But you do not fight it. You embrace it. You let the flow of time move through you, guiding you, shaping you. And then, as you step further into the water, you hear a voice. It is not the same as Aldrich's, nor the distant echo of the river. This voice is strange. It is unfamiliar, yet somehow familiar. So, the keeper has chosen, the voice says, its tone both mocking and curious. Do you understand what you have done, Finn? What it means to control time? The water around you churns. The river itself seems to ripple with the voice, as if it is speaking through the current. You pause, your heart thudding in your chest. What do you mean? You ask, your voice steady, but the uncertainty creeping into your words. I've chosen to walk forward. To shape time, not be bound by it. The water around you swirls faster now, pushing you forward, but you remain rooted in place. Shape time, you say. The voice laughs, a sound like 1,000 whispers intertwined. You are nothing more than a child playing in a field of thorns. Time is a force that cannot be shaped, Finn. It cannot be controlled. It simply is. You feel the river begin to push you harder, as if it is testing you, forcing you to move. The current is strong now, almost as though it is determined to drown you, to pull you into its depths. But, the voice continues, I will give you a chance, keeper. A test. A choice. The water before you splits. A path forms, rising from the river's surface like a bridge, leading to a portal in the distance. It shimmers with light, the light of possibilities, of futures you have yet to see. Choose, Finn, the voice beckons. Step forward into the portal. Let it show you what lies beyond. Let it show you the future you could create. But know this, you will not have control of what you see. You will only watch. Your heart races as the voice's words sink in. The portal is beckoning, calling you forward with the promise of knowledge, of clarity. But something holds you back. You've seen the future, you've glimpsed what could be, what might be. But is it truly your choice, or has the river already decided? The voice continues, its tone darker now. Or perhaps you will choose to swim against the current. To defy the river. To refuse to see the future and instead write your own path. But be warned, Finn. You will not walk alone. The shadows of your past will follow you, and the future will not wait for you to make your mind up. You stand at the edge of the water, your body trembling with the weight of the choice before you. The river pulls at you, the portal before you glowing with a strange, eerie light. You know the answer lies ahead. But what is the right choice? What is the path forward? The shadow beneath the water begins to stir, rising like a dark, swirling mist. It takes shape, forming into something familiar. A figure from your past, someone you've not seen in what feels like forever. Aldrich. His form is dark, almost intangible, and yet it burns with emotion. His eyes are filled with disappointment, anger, and something else, something deeper. "You can't escape it, Finn," he says, his voice like the crashing of waves. "Time doesn't belong to you. It never did. You are just a vessel. A moment in the stream. Don't pretend you can control it." Your heart clenches as the figure reaches for you, its hand reaching into the depths of the river. The current pulls at you, but you fight it, your mind racing as you struggle to understand what this means. "You don't have control," the figure repeats. "The path forward is an illusion. The past will always be with you. The mistakes, the choices, the lives you couldn't save. Time doesn't forgive." You feel the weight of his words like a stone in your chest. You've chosen this path. But now, the past is here, and it's not letting you forget. The figure's eyes narrow, and for a moment, you feel yourself slipping into the current, slipping back to the past. The shadows of mistakes, regrets, and choices long gone tug at your feet, pulling you deeper into the river. But then, something inside you shifts. A realization. This is the trial. This is the test. Not of your ability to control time, but your ability to move past it, to move forward, no matter the weight of the past. You take a deep breath and step into the portal. The shadow of Aldrich reaches for you, but you push past it. The light in the portal grows brighter, the river's current quieter, as if the world itself is acknowledging your choice. The moment you step through, the world changes. The air is different now. Lighter. The river fades into the distance as the world around you takes form. You are no longer bound by the currents of time. The test is over. But you know now that the journey ahead is not one of certainty. It is a path of constant choice. The future is not set. It is always changing, always shifting, and so must you. Act 12, The Keeper's Journey. The world around you seems to stabilize as you step through the portal. You are no longer standing at the edge of the river, the current no longer pulls at your soul. Instead, the air feels lighter, the weight of time no longer suffocating. It's as if you've left behind the chaotic swirl of past and future, stepping into a place that exists in between. You look around and realize you're standing on the edge of a vast plain, where the ground stretches out endlessly, yet there are no distinct features, no mountains or trees. The sky above is neither night nor day, but an eternal twilight. The light is soft, muted, a faint purple glow that casts no shadows. The space feels empty, yet full of possibility. The path ahead of you is not straight, nor is it clear. The ground beneath your feet ripples, as though the earth itself is alive, breathing with you. You realize that the land is as much a part of the river of time as the water was. This place is not just a destination, it's the journey. You take a step forward, your boots sinking slightly into the soft, shifting ground. As you walk, the world around you begins to change. The plane you stand on gives way to fractures, cracks in the ground where the past and future seem to seep through. You see them then. Shadows. Not just any shadows, but memories, fragments of time long gone, pieces of what once was, stretching and warping in front of your eyes. You see a house in one of the cracks, Aldrich's house, the one you grew up in. The walls are cracked, worn, but there's something alive about it, something that makes you want to reach out and touch it. You step closer, and for a moment, you think you see Aldrich standing there, just inside the doorway, waiting. But the image is fleeting. A memory, not a moment that can be relived. As you watch, the cracks in the ground widen, and new memories appear, fragments of possible futures, moments yet to come. You see yourself, older now, standing before the same clock that once seemed to be a distant dream. Your hand is outstretched, but the clock's hands don't tick. They stop. The images blur together, fading in and out of existence, as if you're seeing multiple versions of yourself, versions that are both you and not you. These are the paths, the decisions, the choices that lie ahead. But there's something unsettling about it all. The shadows. As you move forward, the shadows grow stronger. The past, the future, they coalesce into something darker, more malevolent. These are the things that time has tried to bury, the regrets, the mistakes, the paths not taken. They rise from the ground, pulling themselves together into shapes, darker versions of yourself. They don't speak. They don't need to. They reach for you. You step back instinctively. The air around you thickens, like the world is collapsing into itself. The memories, once fragmented, now come together like chains, wrapping around your limbs, holding you in place. You can't escape us, one of the shadows hisses, its voice a low, guttural sound. You are time, Finn. You are nothing more than a vessel. We will always follow you. The past will always find you, no matter how far you run. The shadows move closer, swirling around you, wrapping you in a suffocating darkness. You can feel them, inside you now, the weight of regret, of things you cannot change, of paths you cannot walk. For a moment, you feel like you're losing yourself, like the past is consuming you. We are what you've done, the voice hisses again. We are what you couldn't fix. The air thickens further. Your heart races, the pulse of the river around you growing louder, more intense. You fight the urge to succumb to the darkness, but the weight of the shadows is overwhelming. And then, as if from nowhere, you hear a different voice. It's not a shadow. It's not the river. It's your own voice. I am not you, you say, your voice stronger than before. I am the keeper. The words cut through the darkness, and suddenly, the shadows freeze. You realize that the shadows are not you, not the things you've done. They are not the choices, not the failures. They are the reflections, the remnants of choices that didn't work out, the paths you couldn't walk. And you don't have to carry them anymore. With a deep breath, you push forward. Your hand reaches out to the shadows, not to fight them, but to accept them. You take control, the pulse of time now flowing through your fingertips, not as a weapon, but as a tool. The shadows dissolve. The ground beneath your feet stabilizes. The air clears. And with a final step, you leave the darkness behind. You've crossed the threshold. The space around you settles, and the sky above clears, revealing the endless stretch of twilight. You're standing at the center of an open, untouched land. The path ahead is still unclear, but now, you know this, you are the keeper of time, not because you control it, but because you understand it. You are the shaper, not the prisoner. A door appears in front of you. It is the same shape as the portal you once stepped through, but this one is different. It is not bound to the river. It is bound to you. This is the door to the future. You take a step forward and reach for the handle. As your fingers touch the door, you feel it, time, the river, the current all flowing around you, with you, as you choose the next step. You open the door and walk through. Act 13, the tapestry of choice. The door closes softly behind you, and the world shifts once more. The land beneath your feet feels solid, but the air is still, almost suffocatingly so. You are in a new place now, a place that is both familiar and foreign, like stepping into a memory that you never lived but always knew. The sky above is dark, not in a threatening way, but in a way that feels timeless, endless. There are no stars here, no moon, only a dim, almost imperceptible light that seems to emanate from the very fabric of the world itself. You look around and realize you're standing in the center of a vast, open space, a room without walls, an expanse without limit. The ground beneath you is smooth stone, worn by countless footsteps, but there are no footprints. The space is empty, save for a large loom at the far end of the room. The loom stands tall, its wooden frame carved with intricate symbols, glowing faintly in the dim light. The threads hanging from it are woven in patterns, looping and curling like threads of time itself. Some of the threads glow brightly, while others fade to a dull gray. The tapestry being woven on the loom is ever-changing, its patterns shifting and weaving together, never settled. You approach the loom, drawn to it, feeling the pull of its mysterious power. As you draw closer, you see that the tapestry being woven is not just a design, but memories, events, and choices. Each thread represents a path, a decision, moments in time that have been made, and moments that have yet to be decided. As you stand before the loom, a voice familiar and strange fills the space around you. It is not a whisper, nor a shout, but something that fills your mind. The fabric of time is woven, Finn. Every choice you make becomes a thread in the tapestry of existence. But not all threads are yours to weave. Not all paths are yours to choose. You turn to see the figure standing beside you, Aldrich. Not the same as he was before, but something different. He is no longer a shadow, nor a voice. He is solid, his form standing beside the loom, his eyes filled with knowledge that seems both ancient and fresh. You have crossed the threshold, Aldrich says, his voice calm but full of gravity. You have stepped beyond the river of time, and now you stand at the crossroads of possibilities. The loom is yours to guide, but remember this, not all threads are yours to pull. You stare at the tapestry, your heart racing. The loom hums softly, its threads shifting as though alive. You see threads that represent moments you've lived, but you also see threads you've never touched, paths that you have yet to walk, choices you have yet to make. What do you mean? You ask, your voice uncertain. I thought I was the keeper of time. I thought I could shape it. Aldrich steps forward, his presence comforting yet imposing. You can shape it, Finn. But time is not just yours to control. You are not the only weaver in this world. There are other hands at work, other forces that govern the fabric of time. You can choose your path, yes. But you cannot choose all paths. You look back at the loom. The threads shimmer before you, each one representing a moment, a decision. The more you look, the more you see. There's the thread of your childhood, woven into the tapestry, a moment you can never fully return to, no matter how much you wish it. There's the thread of Aldrich's guidance, a memory of the past, a moment that shaped you. But as your eyes follow the threads, you begin to see others' threads that seem familiar but are not yours. Other lives. Other choices. The tapestry is alive, filled with possibilities, but also with the weight of what has been and what could be. You will encounter others, Aldrich says, as if reading your thoughts. And with them, their choices will intertwine with yours. The fabric of time is delicate. Every decision affects not just you, but the world around you. You take a step back, the weight of his words settling deep within you. The loom shifts slightly, the threads curling and weaving themselves, creating new patterns. New possibilities. You feel the pull of the loom, of the threads. There are choices waiting for you, waiting for your hand to pull them into being. But what will you do? You reach out and touch one of the threads, the one representing the path you've chosen, the path of a keeper. The thread glows brightly, responding to your touch. You feel a rush of power, of clarity, as the thread hums with energy. But then, as you touch it, something shifts. The loom vibrates, the threads shaking as if caught in a storm. The thread you touched begins to twist in a direction you didn't expect, forming new, unfamiliar patterns. You pull back in shock, but the thread continues to shift, breaking free from the pattern you intended. The loom hums louder, its threads weaving in chaotic, unpredictable ways. You see, Finn. Aldrich says, his voice heavy. Time does not bend to a single hand. It cannot be controlled as easily as you thought. There are forces at work here beyond your comprehension. Forces that will challenge every choice you make. You stand there, your hands still hovering above the loom, the threads now swirling like a storm. The tapestry is no longer a map of your future, but an ocean of infinite possibilities, some familiar, some foreign, all uncertain. The world shifts again. The tapestry begins to change, each thread pulling in different directions, intertwining and splitting into countless versions of what could be. The loom hums with energy, alive with the potential of everything. Now, you must decide, Aldrich says, stepping back. The path ahead is no longer clear. You can weave your own future, but you must be prepared for what comes next. The forces of time are unpredictable, and the choices you make will shape not just your destiny, but the world's. You look at the loom once more, feeling the weight of your responsibility as the keeper of time. The threads shift, each one representing a different choice. You know now that the tapestry is not just a representation of time, but of all choices past, present, and future. The question remains. What will you choose, Finn? Act 14, The Weight of Choices. The loom hums, its vibration reaching deep into the core of your being. You stand before it, your hand hovering over the threads, feeling the weight of every possibility. The past, present, and future all weave together, each choice branching into countless outcomes. The moment is overwhelming, yet it feels strangely familiar. The tapestry is alive. It is not just a record of time, but a map of lives, of moments, of choices made and the choices that will follow. You can feel the power of the loom now, its energy pulsing through your fingertips, as if you could manipulate it, shape it, control it. But there's something else. Something you didn't expect. The threads are not as easy to pull as you imagined. Every choice you make here has consequences. The threads you touch ripple outward, weaving new patterns, but those patterns are not free from their effects. The fabric of time shifts with every decision, and those decisions change things. They change people. You pull your hand back from the loom, stepping away, feeling the weight of responsibility settle into your chest. You've chosen to be the keeper of time, but you now understand that time is not something to control. It is something to understand, something to respect. And sometimes, you have to let the threads unravel on their own. As you turn from the loom, the world around you shifts. The twilight sky above you darkens, and a low wind begins to stir, sending ripples across the stone beneath your feet. The ground vibrates slightly, as though the land itself is responding to your presence, to the choices you've made. And then, as if summoned by your thoughts, a figure appears. Not Aldrich this time. A woman. Her face is familiar, though you cannot place her. She is dressed in flowing robes, and her hair is wild, like it has been caught in the wind. She stands before you, her eyes piercing, full of something you cannot quite grasp. You've made your choice, keeper, she says, her voice calm yet heavy with meaning. But not all choices are your own to make. You stiffen. The air around you seems to thicken as her presence settles in. There is something unsettling about her, something ancient and wise, yet unknowable. She knows something you do not. Who are you? You ask, trying to steady your voice. The woman smiles faintly, but her eyes remain cold, focused. I am the watcher, she replies simply. I see the threads of time as they weave, and I keep watch over those who wield the power to shape it. You take a step back, your hand instinctively going to the watch still clutched in your palm. It is warm against your skin, steady, alive with power. You've felt its pull before, but now, with the woman's presence, you feel its weight differently, as though it is both a gift and a burden. Why are you here? You ask, your mind racing with the implications of her words. What do you want? She steps closer, her gaze piercing through you. I am here to remind you, she says softly, that not all paths are meant to be walked alone. Time is not just your story to write, keeper. You are not its sole architect. The world will bend to your will, yes, but it will also resist. And you will see that not every choice is one you should make. Her words strike you like a thunderclap. Resist. The very thought shakes you. You've felt the power of the loom, the watch, the threads. You've seen the paths that lie before you, waiting for your guidance. But what does she mean? What do you mean by that? You ask, unable to shake the unease crawling up your spine. The watcher's eyes soften, and for a moment, you see something human in them, a flicker of sympathy, perhaps, or regret. The power you hold, Finn, is not a gift, she says gently, but with weight. It is a test. And not everyone who holds such power can handle its consequences. You feel the ground shift beneath you again, the stone tremoring, and you glance down to see cracks forming along the surface. The threads you saw earlier seem to whisper, vibrating with an energy that you cannot control. You've stepped beyond the point of no return, the watcher says, her voice unwavering. You've made the first choice. But there will be others. And not all will be as simple as this. The cracks in the ground widen, and you can feel the pressure building. The world seems to stretch and bend around you, and for a moment, you lose sight of the watcher entirely. The loom calls to you, its threads still waiting for you to pull them, to shape them. But now, you see something else: shadows, darkness at the edges of the world. Time is not a clear road. It is a maze, twisting and turning, with dangers that lurk in every corner. You reach for the watch again, but this time, it feels heavier. You feel the weight of the choices ahead, and for the first time, you wonder if you have the strength to carry them. The watcher stands still, watching you, but there is a hint of warning in her gaze. She is not a figure of power, but of guidance. Her role is not to interfere, but to remind you that the paths you walk are fraught with challenges. The road ahead will not be easy, Finn, she says, her voice a low whisper now. Every step you take will echo through time. Every choice you make will have its consequences. And you will not always be the one to bear the weight of them. You stand in silence, the weight of her words settling over you like a fog. You feel the river of time flow around you again, not as a force, but as a living, breathing entity. The current tugs at your feet, but you stand firm, knowing that your journey is just beginning. The watcher steps back, her form fading into the twilight. "Remember this, keeper," she calls over her shoulder as she vanishes into the shadows. Not all paths are meant to be walked alone. You are left standing in the silence, the loom behind you and the vast unknown before you. The weight of the watch is a constant pressure against your chest, and the world is still shifting, still changing. But now, you know. Every choice has a price. And the journey ahead is one that will test not just your power, but your soul. Act 15, The Reflection of Time. The silence hangs in the air like an ancient secret, a whisper that feels older than the very land beneath your feet. The world has shifted again, but this time, you can feel it deep within you. The weight of the watch on your wrist, the steady rhythm of time ticking away with each breath, and the sense that you've just crossed into a place where time itself will no longer wait for you to catch up. The watcher's words still echo in your mind. Not all paths are meant to be walked alone. You've felt it before, the isolation of being the keeper of time, carrying the burden of decisions made, and decisions yet to come. But what does she mean by this? Alone? Are you truly walking this path alone? Or have you just not seen the hands that have shaped your journey before? You stand in the twilight, the edges of the world blurring, the loom still humming faintly behind you. The ground beneath you seems to pulse, like a living thing, the air thick with a strange energy, something that feels almost like a presence. You turn, and for a brief moment, you wonder if the watcher is still watching you. But there is nothing. Only the endless stretch of time, stretching out before you like an ocean you must cross. You take a deep breath, your heart still heavy with the gravity of her words. Not all paths are meant to be walked alone. As you step forward, the ground before you begins to shift. The stone beneath your feet crumbles away, revealing a deep abyss below, but instead of falling, you find yourself moving down. The air is different now, colder, sharper, and the hum of the loom fades behind you. The pull of time is stronger than ever, each step you take guiding you downward into what could be the paths that you could still choose, the futures you could shape. As you descend, the path before you begins to branch. The air grows colder, but it is no longer just the cold of the mountain. It is the cold of choices that have yet to be made. The path splits into 3 distinct roads, each one leading in a different direction, each one glowing faintly, illuminated by a strange, inner light. You pause at the fork in the road, the weight of the watch on your wrist a constant reminder of your purpose. The roads are not clear. They are not paved with certainty. They are woven with time itself, twisting and turning in ways you cannot foresee. Each path represents a different future, but none of them are what they seem. You step toward the first road, drawn by the soft glow. This path is wide, bathed in a soft blue light, the stones beneath your feet smooth and familiar. It feels like a road you've walked before, a path that stretches out before you without surprise. But then, as you take your first step, something stirs in the air. It is subtle at first, a flicker, a whisper, but then the ground beneath you shudders. The path begins to change. You stop, feeling the weight of the shift, the way the air suddenly feels heavier, thicker. The light around you dims, and the once straight road twists into a labyrinth of shadows. The path is no longer clear, and the familiar feeling of certainty has been replaced by a sense of dread. This is not the road you thought it was. You look back, but the path behind you is gone. The road has already moved on, becoming something new, something unfamiliar. This path is not for you. You turn, startled by the voice that seems to come from the very air around you. But no one is there. The voice isn't real. It's a part of the world around you, a reflection of the choice you almost made. With a deep breath, you step back from the first path and turn to the second one. This road is narrower, its light harsh, almost blinding, the ground uneven and cracked. The air around it vibrates with energy, and you can feel it pulse against your skin. As you step closer, the stone beneath your feet changes, turning into something colder, more unnatural. The path is alive, the ground shifting beneath you, like a river of stone flowing in another direction. You reach out, and the air hums with power. Are you sure? The voice again, echoing in your mind, but this time, it feels more like a question. You hesitate, your body tense with uncertainty. The path before you is unfamiliar, dangerous even. But there's something about it, the way it calls to you, the way it feels like destiny. It promises strength, power, control. But you can't shake the feeling that this is a trap, a road that will lead you into shadow, just as the first one did. You can feel the pressure mounting, time folding around you like a net, ready to close in. You pull your hand back, stepping away from the second path, your heart pounding in your chest. The road is not what it seems. Not all paths are meant to be walked alone. You take a deep breath, steeling yourself, and turn to the third path. This one is different. The air around it is calm. Still. There is no blinding light, no shifting stone. It's a simple path, but it is covered in soft, lush grass, its edges outlined by trees with leaves that seem to glow in the twilight. The road feels natural, but it is not entirely inviting. It's soft, like a whisper, beckoning you forward, but with no promise of what lies ahead. You take a step onto the road. For the first time, the world feels clear. This path isn't the road of certainty, but it's not a road of shadow, either. It is the middle path, the one that doesn't promise power or certainty, but balance. It feels like the right choice, the one that isn't dictated by fear or temptation, but by purpose. The weight of the watch feels lighter now, and the hum of time beneath your feet is steady. You walk forward, feeling the air shift around you, the path slowly beginning to clear. Each step you take feels like a choice, but a peaceful one. You know the journey will not be easy, but it feels like the one you are meant to walk. As you move forward, you feel the tapestry of time beginning to unwind around you, each thread weaving itself into place. The road is still long, and the future is still uncertain. but for the first time, you feel as if you have made the right choice. The path ahead is still yours to shape. Act 16, the tapestry unravels. The world around you feels different now, though you can't quite place why. The path beneath your feet, the twilight sky above, the air, it all feels as if it's becoming clearer, as if you are stepping into a new version of the world, one that has always been but was hidden in shadows. You've walked this path, the one you chose. The middle road. The one that was neither too tempting nor too dangerous. And yet, with every step, you feel the weight of the future pressing upon you, as though the very world is waiting for you to shape it. But there's more. The loom is still in your mind. The threads of time, the choices, the decisions, the paths, they are all still connected, but the fabric around you begins to fray, unraveling with every move you make. It's as if your journey has opened a door you can't close. And you begin to realize that not everything is meant to be fixed. Some threads of time cannot be woven back together. Some moments can never be undone. You walk further, but something feels wrong. The ground shifts again beneath you, the air suddenly heavy with tension. You look around, but the path remains the same, the soft grass beneath your feet still glowing faintly, but the world around you is changing. Not slowly, but swiftly. The once peaceful atmosphere is now rippling with the echoes of voices, some familiar, some strange. A deep, almost unnatural hum fills the air. You've come far, keeper. The voice is unmistakable. Aldrich. You stop in your tracks, heart skipping a beat. The voice seems to be all around you, echoing in the very air. You've chosen the path ahead, but be careful, Finn. The road you walk is not yours alone. You turn, searching for Aldrich, but there's nothing. The world around you is silent again, but the weight of his words lingers in the air. The hum intensifies, like a vibration within your very bones. It's not a sound you can hear with your ears. It's something you feel deep inside. You take a deep breath, stepping forward. But as you do, the world shifts again. This time, it's different. The ground beneath you cracks, the edges of the path you're walking on splitting apart. Time itself is fracturing. You raise your hand instinctively to steady yourself, but you realize something: the watch. The timepiece is pulsing in your hand, reacting to the changes in the world. It vibrates, its tick growing faster, more erratic. Suddenly, the fractures in the ground open wide, and from the depths, figures begin to rise. They are shadows, but these are not like the ones you saw before. They are familiar. You recognize their faces, their forms, faces from your past, faces from those you once loved. The shadows take shape, Aldrich among them, standing before you, his eyes glowing with an unsettling intensity. Do you understand now, Finn? Aldrich's voice echoes. You are not the only one who shapes time. You cannot change the threads without consequences. The choices you make affect more than just you. You take a step back, your heart racing. These aren't just memories. These aren't just fragments. These are echoes of the past, of people who were affected by your choices, by what you did. What is this? You whisper, your voice trembling. What have I done? Aldrich steps forward, his face haggard, his eyes filled with something darker. Regret. Pain. The weight of everything you've carried is reflected in him. The choices you made, the paths you walked, the people you left behind. You've unraveled the threads, Finn, Aldrich says softly, but with a note of warning in his voice. The past cannot be fixed, nor can it be erased. You've opened a door, and now the past is here. It is not something you can just walk away from. You take a step back, shaking your head. No. This isn't what you wanted. This isn't what you intended. The shadows grow darker around you, swirling, gathering, until they envelop you entirely. You can feel them pressing against you, pulling at your very soul. The figures, the shadows of your choices continue to multiply. They are not just memories. They are lives, people whose fates you've touched, whose lives you've altered without even realizing it. And now, they want answers. The ground shakes beneath you, and you realize the truth. The fabric of time is not something you can control alone. It is not yours to shape with just a touch of your hand. Every choice, every action has consequences, ripples that stretch across time, and others are affected by those choices whether you realize it or not. What do you want from me? You shout into the darkness, your voice desperate. I never wanted this. The shadows begin to shift. They form shapes, images of those you've loved and lost. People you've failed. Choices you regret. The air is thick with their presence, suffocating. And then, one by one, the shadows speak, their voices soft at first, but growing louder, their words sharp, piercing. You cannot escape us, Finn. You cannot escape the choices you made. You clutch the watch tightly in your hand, feeling its pulse against your palm. It hums with energy, the ticking louder now, each beat growing in intensity. And then, suddenly, a flash of light. You blink. When you open your eyes again, everything is still. The shadows are gone. The fractures in the ground have disappeared. The path ahead is calm, clear, once again. But the weight of the choice remains. The watch is still ticking. Aldrich is gone. But the echoes of the past remain, always with you, always in your thoughts. The road ahead is still open, still uncertain, but now, you know one thing for certain: the path you walk does not just belong to you. Act 17, The Weight of Regret. The world is still. The silence is almost oppressive, wrapping itself around you like a thick blanket. You stand at the edge of the path you've chosen, the journey before you still uncertain, still full of questions that have yet to be answered. The weight of your decisions presses down on you, heavier than it ever has been. The shadows from before have disappeared, but the feeling they left behind lingers. It's a heaviness in your chest, a constant reminder that time cannot be shaped without consequences. You take a step forward, your eyes scanning the land before you. The sky above has not changed, still the same twilight, and the air still carries that strange energy. But something is different. You can feel it in your bones. The world feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for something, waiting for you. You know what's coming. It's only a matter of time before the past catches up with you. As you move forward, the ground beneath your feet shifts again, and the world around you begins to blur. You feel the pull of time, the subtle tug of things unresolved. You can feel it the way the past lingers in the air, the way it calls to you, demanding that you face it. You've made choices. You've shaped time, but now it's time for time to shape you. Suddenly, a figure appears before you. You freeze, your heart skipping a beat. It's Aldrich. But not as you remember him. This isn't the Aldrich who guided you. This isn't the mentor you looked up to. This is a shadow of him, a reflection of the past. His eyes are cold, distant, and his expression is one of disappointment. You've come far, Finn, Aldrich's voice echoes, but it's distorted, like it's coming from all around you. But you've made a choice that has cost more than you realize. You open your mouth to speak, but the words die in your throat. The figure of Aldrich steps closer, his presence filling the space. His form is shifting, flickering between human and shadow, like he doesn't quite belong here. You think you can walk away from the past, Aldrich continues, his voice growing darker. But the past does not let go so easily. Every thread you pulled, every choice you made, has woven a pattern. And now, Finn, you must face the consequences. You step back, the weight of his words settling into your chest like a heavy stone. This isn't the Aldrich you knew. This is something darker. Something more real than you ever expected. What do you want from me? You ask, your voice shaky, unsure. Aldrich's figure flickers again, his form shifting between the past and the present. I don't want anything, Finn, he says softly. But you must understand, the choices you've made have consequences for more than just you. You swallow hard, trying to steady yourself. Consequences. You've heard the word before, but hearing it from Aldrich, from this figure, it cuts deeper than you thought it would. You look at the ground beneath your feet, but it's shifting again, the stones beneath you turning to sand. The path you thought was clear begins to crumble away, the world around you beginning to fracture. You take a deep breath, trying to hold it together. What am I supposed to do? You ask, the words coming out quieter than you intended. What do you want from me? Aldrich's form fades into a mist, leaving only the echo of his words. The past cannot be changed. but you can choose how you move forward. But first, you must face what you've left behind. Before you can respond, the air around you shifts again, the ground shaking beneath you, and suddenly, the world splits. The sky above you seems to crack, like a mirror breaking apart, revealing another world, one filled with shadows and light. You look around, and the path before you now splits into multiple roads, each one dark, unfamiliar, and twisted in its own way. From one of the roads, you hear voices you know. Familiar voices. You turn, and standing before you are the people you've left behind. People whose lives you've touched in ways you didn't understand before. Their faces are blurry at first, but as they draw closer, you begin to recognize them. Elaine, Caleb, Isla, James. They stand before you, their eyes filled with hurt, with questions, with disappointment. Their faces are distorted by time, by the choices you made. You left us, Finn. You didn't think about us. Why didn't you stay? Their words cut through you, each one like a dagger, each one a reminder of what you've lost. You stagger back, the weight of their accusations settling in your chest. Regret. It's the thing you've been running from, the thing you've been avoiding. I didn't mean to, you say, but your voice feels small, insignificant. I thought I was doing what was right. I thought I was making the right choices. They don't answer. They just stand there, their eyes locked on you, filled with anger, sadness, betrayal. You look down at the ground, the path before you now fully fractured, the road crumbling away beneath your feet. The world is unraveling again, the fabric of time threatening to snap. And then, you hear it. A voice. A familiar voice. Finn. You look up, and this time, it's Aldrich again. But not the shadow. Not the figure filled with disappointment. This is the Aldrich you knew. His eyes are kind, but there is something sad in them. It's not too late, Aldrich says softly. You can't undo the past, Finn. But you can make amends. You can choose how you walk forward. You swallow hard, the weight of his words settling into your chest. How? You ask, your voice barely a whisper. Aldrich smiles faintly, his expression full of compassion. Face them, he says simply. Face the choices you made. And make the path ahead your own. The world around you fades into darkness, and suddenly, you're standing alone on the road again. The fractured path is still there, but now, you feel stronger. The choices you made have shaped who you are, but they do not define you. You can choose to walk a new road. You can make new choices. But the past will always be there, watching, waiting. The question is, what will you do next? Act 18, the choices we carry. The world around you has settled into a strange stillness. The voices of your past, the figures of your regret, have faded into the shadows, leaving only the lingering sense of their weight. You stand alone now, the road before you no longer fractured, but the memory of what has come before is still fresh in your mind. You look around, but the land is still. The twilight sky overhead remains unchanged, the air still heavy with the echoes of time. But for the first time, you feel a new clarity. It's as if the fog has lifted, and you can see the road ahead more clearly than ever before. You're still the keeper of time, still burdened by the power to shape the future. But now, you realize something deeper: the power to change is not about control. It's about acceptance. Understanding. You can shape time, yes, but you cannot erase what's been written. Every thread you pull, every decision you make, leaves its mark. The weight of those decisions presses down on you, but it's not crushing. It's a reminder that every choice has a consequence and you must carry them, not hide from them. You take a deep breath, the stillness of the world around you oddly comforting. The road ahead is still unclear, but you know that it is yours to walk. And it is a path that will be shaped not by the mistakes of the past, but by the choices you make in the present. You take the first step forward. The ground beneath your feet is firm, but as you walk, the path begins to change once more. The landscape around you shifts, the air growing thicker, charged with energy. The soft twilight light becomes brighter, then dimmer, as if the very fabric of reality is being tested. The road before you splits once again. This time, the paths are not obvious. The road to your left is dark, the air around it heavy with shadows, but also a whisper of something familiar. The road to your right is bright, illuminated by the soft glow of stars, but it feels like a path unknown, uncertain, waiting for you to decide. You stand at the crossroads, your heart racing as you feel the weight of the decision before you. The watch on your wrist hums gently, the tick-tock a constant reminder that time is not just a force to be controlled, it is a companion, a reflection of the choices you make. The voice of Aldrich echoes in your mind once again. The past cannot be undone, Finn. But the future is still yours to shape. The choice is yours. You look down at your feet, your fingers brushing against the fabric of time itself, feeling the weight of the decision. Which path will you take? You glance down the left path, and the shadows seem to reach for you, pulling you back into the memories you've tried to escape. Faces from your past flicker in the dark, but they are not the faces of the people you've lost. These are the faces of those you've hurt, those whose lives were changed by your choices. Is this path the one to redemption? Or will it pull you into a deeper darkness? You turn to the right, and the light from the stars seems inviting, but it feels like a path into the unknown. It promises something new, something fresh, but there's no certainty. The light glows brightly, but what will you leave behind if you take that road? What price will you pay for the future? The voice of the watcher echoes softly in your mind now, a reminder of her words. Not all paths are meant to be walked alone. You take a deep breath, feeling the weight of her words settle into your soul. It's true. The road you walk is not just about you. It's about the people you've touched, the lives you've changed, and the consequences of your choices. You cannot walk this path alone, and you cannot escape the past. The decision is yours. You step forward. The road to the left is dark, but you feel the pull. You've spent so long running from the shadows, running from the mistakes you've made. But now, you realize that running will never set you free. You must face the past, face the mistakes, face the people you've hurt, and make amends. You step into the darkness. As you walk, the air grows thick, the shadows curling around you. But this time, you are not afraid. You feel the weight of your choices, but also a sense of peace. The past is a part of you, but it does not define you. The darkness does not consume you, it guides you. The figures from your past appear before you once again. They are not accusations, but reflections of what you've done. You see the faces of the people you've lost, the lives you've affected. But this time, they do not judge you. They forgive you. The road ahead opens up, the shadows fading as you step forward. And then, you hear it. Finn. The voice is familiar, and when you look up, you see Aldrich, standing before you once again. His face is calm, his expression no longer filled with disappointment. You've chosen, Aldrich says softly. And now, you understand. The past cannot be undone, but it can be forgiven. And from that forgiveness, the future can be shaped. You nod, understanding. This is not the end. This is not about erasing your mistakes. This is about learning from them, about understanding the weight of the choices you've made and moving forward. The darkness recedes, and the path ahead becomes clear. And with each step, the future becomes yours to shape. Act 19, The Echoes of Time. The world around you is quieter now, more still. The twilight sky above has deepened into an endless stretch of dark blue, the air charged with an energy that hums, low and constant. You stand at the crossroads once again, but this time, the roads before you are not unfamiliar. They are paths you've walked before, choices you've made, some of them long ago, and others more recent. You've been to the edge of time. You've touched its very fabric, shaped it with your hands, and felt the weight of every choice you've made. But now, as you look at the road before you, the truth is clear: time is not linear. It does not flow in one direction. It is a cycle, always turning, always coming back. You've learned that the past, present, and future are not separate. They are woven together, intertwined like threads in a tapestry. But what happens when those threads begin to unravel? What happens when time itself starts to fracture? You stand at the edge of the road, the loom in your mind humming softly, its threads constantly shifting, constantly changing. But there is something different now. The paths before you are not just a reflection of the choices you've made, they are echoes of what's come before, reverberating through time like ripples in a pond. The wind picks up, and with it comes a feeling, It's faint at first, a whisper, a pull at the edges of your consciousness. It's the same hum you felt before, the same pull of time, but this time, it feels like it's coming from deep within you. You feel it in your chest, a steady pulse that matches the ticking of the watch you wear. The tick-tock is louder now, more insistent. Finn. The voice is familiar, but it's not Aldrich. It's not the watcher. It's your own voice, coming from somewhere deep inside. You've heard it before, in your dreams, in your moments of doubt. But this time, it's clear. It's you. You step forward, unsure of what you're hearing, but the pull is undeniable. The road ahead is still fragmented, still broken into paths that lead to nowhere and everywhere. But you feel the need to move. As you take your first step, the world around you begins to shift again. The ground trembles beneath your feet, and you realize that the world you're walking through isn't just a reflection of time. It is time itself, alive, breathing, changing with every step you take. You see the road ahead start to blur, the path you thought was clear dissolving into fragments of the past, images that you've seen before. Faces, places, moments all floating in the air like visions, drifting past you like dreams you can't quite grasp. You see yourself, a younger version of yourself, standing at the edge of the same crossroads you're at now. The same choices, the same roads, all leading to different futures. But the faces are different, unfamiliar. You take another step, and suddenly, the scene before you shifts. You're no longer looking at the crossroads, but at a house. A house you recognize. It's not the one you grew up in, but it's familiar all the same. The door is cracked open, and light spills out into the dark. You step toward it, your heart racing. A choice, once again. But this time, the door is already open. It's as if it has been waiting for you. You push it open and step inside. The room is dim, the shadows long and stretching, but the air is warm, comforting. You take a deep breath, and for the first time, it feels like you've come home. The weight of your choices, the weight of your past is heavy, but here, in this room, it feels like you can finally let it go. You look around, and in the dim light, you see faces. People you've known, people who have been with you through your journey, their expressions full of questions, of confusion, of hope. You see Aldrich, standing by the window, looking out at something far off. You see Elaine, her eyes full of concern. You see Islot, her face full of questions. But most of all, you see yourself, reflected in their eyes. "You're back," Aldrich says quietly, his voice steady but full of weight. "You've chosen, Finn. But now, you must face what's come before." You turn to face him, your heart heavy with his words. The house, the people, everything feels so real. But this time, it's not a place of escape. It's a place where the past and future converge, a place where you must confront everything you've done. The watch on your wrist ticks louder, almost frantic, as if it's urging you to act. The hum in the air grows stronger, and the world around you begins to shift once more. The walls of the house shudder, like they are being pulled in every direction by the current of time. Fragments of the past, your past, the world's past start to bleed into the room, swirling around you like a storm. You reach out, feeling the pull of the past, the shadows, the regrets. But this time, you don't step back. You stand firm. The shadows, the doubts, they are part of you. But they don't define you. You've always tried to outrun the past, Finn, Aldrich says, his voice quieter now. But time doesn't let go. It keeps returning, over and over. The shadows swirl around you, pulling at your mind, your heart, but you stand taller, taking a deep breath. The weight of your decision settles into your chest, and you realize something. You cannot escape the past. You cannot change the mistakes. But you can move forward. You step forward into the center of the room, where the shadows converge. As you walk through them, they fade. The voices of your past, the regrets, the guilt, they begin to quiet. You know they will always be there, but they no longer control you. You take another step, and the house begins to shift. The walls fade, the light brightens, and you see the open road ahead of you once more. You take a deep breath, the weight of time still heavy on your shoulders. But now, you understand. The path ahead is not defined by the mistakes of your past. It is shaped by the choices you make now. The loom still hums in your mind, the threads of time woven together, and the road ahead is yours to walk. Act 20, the final tapestry. The road ahead is clearer now. The fog of doubt, of confusion, has lifted, and for the first time in what feels like forever, you feel a sense of calm, a sense of purpose. You are not just the keeper of time. You are its shaper. The decisions you've made, the paths you've walked, have all led you here to the end, but not to an ending that's defined by what you've left behind. It's an ending that's shaped by what you're about to create. You stand at the edge of the world once again, the loom of time echoing in your mind, its threads still shifting, still alive. The path before you is open, but not as it once was. It's different now. It's not the future that's unclear anymore. It's the present, the choices you're making right now that will shape everything to come. You face the past. You face the darkness and the light, the choices you regret and the ones you've embraced. You've made peace with the threads of your past, but now, you must decide how to weave the tapestry of your future. Time is not just a force you hold in your hands. It is the path you choose to walk. The world around you begins to shift once more. The road ahead feels more open now, less bound by the constraints you once thought it had. The paths that once seemed locked into place are now like threads in a fabric, fluid, dynamic, ready to be woven into something new. You take the first step forward, feeling the weight of the loom in your chest, the steady rhythm of time flowing through you. The tick-tock is still there, but it no longer controls you. It is a part of you now, but not the whole. You have learned to listen, to understand it, to shape it. As you walk, the road begins to expand in front of you, stretching out into the distance. You see others walking along it, some familiar, some new. These are the people you've met along the way, the ones whose lives have been touched by your choices, whose paths have intertwined with yours. Elaine is there, walking with purpose, her eyes bright with determination. Caleb, standing tall and confident, nods to you as he walks past. Isla, with her quiet strength, moves forward, her gaze steady, her path sure. They are not waiting for you. They are walking their own paths, but their presence is a reminder you are not alone. The road ahead is not yours to walk in isolation. It is shared. The ground beneath your feet shifts, and you realize that the road you're on is no longer just your road. It is the road of everyone you've met, everyone you've helped, and everyone who has helped you. You walk past them, each person's path still winding, still alive. You feel their choices, their steps, their presence, guiding you, just as you guide them. The loom begins to hum again, its threads weaving themselves together in a dance of light and shadow, of past and future. You reach out, your hand brushing against one of the threads, and for the first time, you realize you are not controlling it anymore. You are a part of it. You are woven into the fabric of time, but so is everyone else. And in that moment, you understand. The tapestry is not just your own. It is the world's. It is the universe's. It is the story of all lives, all choices, all moments, coming together in a web of possibilities, of paths, of connections. You take a deep breath and step forward once more, your heart steady, your soul calm. You no longer fear what comes next, because you know this time is not just a thing to control. It is a journey to be walked, together, by all who choose to live in it. The road ahead is still uncertain, still winding, but now, you see it for what it is. Your journey, but also the journey of all those who share it with you. And that is enough.